Hi, Filmatics. Thanks for tuning in for part two with Sean Feeney. We had such a great time talking about Star Wars. So, Sean Feeney worked for the motion picture company, and he is now the head of production for GFM Animation and is currently working on Blazing Samurai with Rob Minkoff, the director of The Lion King. Sean, welcome back.
Thank you very much. It was great talking to you about Star Wars and, of course, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Chitty Chitty Bang
Let's
Bang.
not forget Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
We love you. Oh my God, that song's gonna be in my head all day long. I'll be walking my dog down the street and we got Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty. Oh my gosh, Chitty Chitty. But
great song, great song.
Yeah, I hope we're allowed to say that. Yeah, right. For educational purposes, we're allowed to. So you also mentioned another one, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, because you know what? I'm a writer of fantasy and action. So anything that goes on adventure and has lots of fun stuff, that's what I'm about. I remember the scene where the what do you call them? The armored men, the armored guys came alive and helped fight. Remember the knights, the armored fights. What do you call those guys? The tin guys.
Are you sure you got the right film?
Yeah, Bed Knobs and
Broomsticks is when oh God, what are they called? Angela Lansbury and David Thompson go under the sea. Under the beautiful briny blue sea.
Didn't they magically have the armor come alive and help the battle? Or what was one of those films?
You are talking about Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh,
Jason and the Argonauts is 1963, and it's based on Jason and the Golden Fleece, which is a very famous Greek story. And that is the film with the really, really famous dancing skeletons by Ray Harryhausen. Remember those? That's what you're thinking.
Oh.
You're thinking of the stop motion sequence from Jason and the Argonauts, which is amazing. And anyone who wants to get into animation, by the way, the technical side, should go and watch Jason and the Argonauts. It's one of the first great animated films. It's amazing. And
really?
Yeah.
That's good to know. So because we have a lot of animators listening, we have a lot of up and coming writer, director, producers, filmmakers, artists who listen to the show, and they have just been saying the show is so fabulous. The guests give so many helpful hints and tips, and just tell their story of how they made it. So they're like, "Wow, this is incredible." So we're so happy that our guests are just amazing like you. I have a question too. So, So what was one of your favorite directors that you loved, and can you share an amazing film shot?
Well, not really, because I've in the previous part I mentioned four of my favorite films, right. And I recently I've been judging a lot of animated shorts for different film competitions all around the world, and I think a film has to work as an entity. It's not about favorite shot or a favorite sequence or a favorite director. The film has to work as an entity. So you have to have a beginning, middle, end. I think you have to pick a film. You can't pick a bit from a film. Although we were discussing Jason the Argonauts and the Skeletons, which is really, really famous. So you can. But the film has to work. This is my point. If you're making a short or you're making a 85 minute, 86 minute film, it has to work in its entirety. It's got to have beginning, middle, end. At the beginning, why are you watching it? Why am I engaged? How do you get through the second act? And what happens in the third act? So that's really important, even if it's a short film or a long form film. So I wouldn't really pick a favourite director, or I would pick a favourite memory, which is why I chose those four films.
Okay, perfect.
Because I remember. But if you want to talk about animation, which is what we do specifically, I've got two films that I want to mention. And I'm going to pick a sequence, actually, as you've asked me.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to pick my first favourite animated film is The Dark Crystal.
Oh, The Dark Crystal! Amazing.
Now, not the dodgy and terrible modern TV show on Netflix, but the original animatronic film, which I think is the first CG animated film ever, although it's got no CG in it, clearly, because it's like a full-on fantasy film. They didn't have any computer-generated creatures; they had to use puppets. And Jim Henson, I think Frank Oz directed it. And for me, it's like the first full-on fantasy film ever made. I think it's genius. Maybe it looks a bit dated now, but I think it's amazing. And if you want the best sequence, it's when I think they're called the Skeksis. You know, those big birds with the big pointy noses.
Oh yeah.
They have this big dinner, and because they're animatronic puppets, when they eat food, there's like they eat the meat and there's gore and blood and goop and saliva and it's a Volton, and it's absolutely fantastic. So
from our kid who loves war films. I mean, no wonder you went to animation, because you needed something fun after all those traumatic war films growing up.
Exactly. And then so I think Dark Crystal's quite early, isn't it? Like 1982. Mm-hmm. But when the year I got a job at MPC, which was 1993, I think, roughly, or 1994, Tim Burton released Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, The Nightmare Before Christmas. What? Oh my gosh. Everyone's like, what? A Nightmare Before Christmas? Christmas is supposed to be fun and happy.
No, but it is fun and happy. It's an absolutely amazing film. It's very dark, I have to admit. But Jack Skellington is the most fabulous, fabulous character. The music is, I think, is fabulous. And the characters are absolutely brilliant. The whole thing is just amazing. It is very dark, but it's also really, really positive. And I just think it's fantastic. And obviously it's all stop motion. And that takes us back to Ray Harryhausen and who we were just discussing earlier. And of course, all those early visual effects take us back to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Flying and Star Wars and Space Odyssey, 2001 Space Odyssey, I should say. And I just think he created this absolutely brilliant stop motion world. And yeah, I just the songs and the images and amazing, great film.
Yeah, and speaking of, I want to ask you because I'm a big fan of the Criterion Collection, and one of my favorite films. I don't know if you like it, but it's fantasy, and this was done when they actually had black and white film. I don't know if you're familiar with. Well, you probably are. The Miracle Milan by Victor De Scala. Did you ever see that film?
I've seen bits of it, but I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah, it was fantasy and had special effects, and it was before, like you said, before we had special effects, so they had to. I just think the directors and writers and producers that made black and white films, they just were leaders and artists and master craftsmen. Like if you watch Miracle Milan, because I write fantasy, and it reminded me of one of my stories, and I go, oh, that is me. But they do it so brilliantly. And, like I said, I cry afterwards going, I don't even know how to do that. Like, I wish I could do that. They're just so amazing geniuses. And the people that get to work in that field, they're so talented, really incredibly talented. And
Marilyn, they had to do everything for real, didn't they?
Yes.
They had no computers and as you say, things were in black and white. Before that, they had no audio. There were silent movies. And these people had to really, really, really use their imagination to make things happen. It's just fabulous. And today it's relatively easy. You can go and make a big visual effects led movie, and anything can happen. And if you have a problem in your storytelling, you just blow something up. If you can't make the movie work, you just get a dinosaur to run down the street and smash everything up. Job done.
Yep. And people love it. They're like, yeah, dinosaurs running down the street. Yeah, that's so cool. He smashed the car and he smashed the buildings. And did you see him eat a big sandwich at Subway?
Exactly.
And make a big fart?
It's so easy. It's so easy nowadays to do that. And with no effort, you can just blow everything up. It's just like, well, why blow everything up? Why not just think about the story? Have you seen any of those Final Destination films?
I saw some because
there's like Final Destination, one, loads of them, and they're just these really cheap films where if they have a problem with the story, they kill someone. They fall under a truck, or the truck goes through the wall of the cafe, or the sign kills them, or the in the New York Metro, the train kills them.
Or the Eiffel Tower falls over them, or the Statue of Liberty sinks while they're inside, or explodes. Well,
or they get stuck in a lift and their head gets chopped off by the.
It's very inventive. It's very inventive, and there's an audience for everything. There's an audience for everything. There's a genre for everything these days, and now everything is so many labels. They have like rom-com, sci-fi, fantasy, anime, animation. Hey, I wanted to ask you, what do you think, like, how is anime compared to animation? Like, it's really on fire right now, right?
Well, anime compared to animation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I suppose anime is genre, isn't it? It's like a specific genre, and all genre today is doing really, really well, actually. It's amazing how, for example, in independent films, it's much easier to make a genre film than it is to make a mainstream action movie, for example, because you can make genre films quite cheaply, and you can finance them quite relatively easily. So they're booming. So anime, is that one of these niches? It's like a niche, isn't it? It's like a little specialist area. It's never something I've really been into. It's too I find it too Japanese for me. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just not really my thing, to be honest. Anime, but yeah, it's booming, absolutely booming.
It's well, I see them. There's a lot of, because I write kids content, as you know, for my podcast, Enchanting book readings, and so when I looked at them, because I have an anime page on Facebook, and there are lots of sexy women and guys on there. There's some, like, I think that are rated R. So you're like, whoa, because I was looking for an anime character for one of my kids, and I was like, wow, these are kind of too sexy for my kids' channel. I need them tame.
I think you have to be very careful with anime, because a lot of anime is very adult.
It's more adult, right?
Yeah, and lots of people who like anime expect an adult element in it. So it's you've got to be very careful about showing it to children.
Okay, yeah, so it's more adult, and adult animation right now is on fire. I'm hearing.
Absolutely, but it's mainly on fire. Where I work at GFM Animation, we do mainly theatrical films, and anime is not very big in the cinema. Anime is really big on television, and obviously in the cartoon books, but it's not big in the cinema.
Oh, they're gonna make explosions. Don't worry, they'll put explosion stuff, and it'll be big.
That's some dinosaurs. Yeah.
They'll fix it. They'll figure it out and fix it. Don't you worry. You're gonna be like, Marilyn, yep, there's those anime big explosion films going on to the thing.
I mean, for today for cinema, it's very difficult because, as I was discussing in our part one, if I wanted to go and see Star Wars, I had to go to the cinema. But today, teenagers, as I was then, don't really go to the cinema anymore, because they can see, all this crazy stuff and uncontrolled stuff and uncensored stuff and uncertified stuff on their laptops or their computers or whatever. So, as we know, YouTube is a bit like the Wild West. You can see anything on YouTube.
The Wild West. The Wild West. So they are trying to make it better. Like you have to write, is it kids only and stuff. So they are trying to implement that. So that's nice.
Yeah, but
it's still the Wild West, right?
I mean, come on.
All apps are the Wild West. The social
I'm probably not allowed to say this on your call, but LA Big Tech is not the most moral organization in the world, is it? They're there to make money. They're not there to bring you any spiritual enhancement, I don't think.
Well, like I said, there's a market for everyone as long as it's allowed and legal. I mean, but I still think that people like going to the theater because if you have your first date, people still like going to movies on their first date or their second date, or they want to just get out of the house and do something. Or if you have kids, you might want to either have someone take your kids with your other friends to go watch the movies. Oh, hey, yeah, you want to take the kids to go watch a movie, and it gives the mom and dad a chance to relax and just unwind. And then or maybe the grandparents can take the kids to those films.
Yeah. So we're all confident that there will be a big boom in cinema when COVID is over. Because people want to go out. People don't, especially children. Children don't want to stay in their bedrooms like teenagers and watch TV. They want to go out and meet their friends and, as you said, go with their grandparents or their uncles and aunts or with their friends. And they want to drink Coca-Cola or eat popcorn. So the children's market will bounce back massively in cinemas. But teenagers don't really tend to go to the cinema very much anymore because they're in their rooms watching the internet.
Well, I think the boys and girls that are on first dates will always love the cinema because it's dark in there. And they're next to their date. Remember those movies where you're with your date and you're holding hands and it's an enjoyable...
But Marilyn, this is where these genre films come in. Like kung fu films or action films or specific types of action films.
Or
these
horror films.
Budget horror movies that are booming because kids go on dates, teenagers go on dates, and they want to see these sorts of genre movies that don't have the normal controls of big budget movies or Hollywood movies, and I think they really enjoy them.
Yeah. Well, I think that people love those big family films, like you said, like Jungle Book and oh my God, Lady and the Tramp and the Aristocrats and Aria, the Last Dragon and How to Train Your Dragon and Frozen and Little Mermaid and Lion King. I think there's a place in everyone's heart for family, PG, kids that are these incredible high concept stories that kids, teens, adults, seniors, every age, every person just loves because they're just beautifully animated, great stories. I mean, that is where my heart and soul is. And I have proof is in the pudding. My kids' podcast, like I told you, is top 1.5 around the world. So they love kids' stories. They love it. They love good content, like you said. So
absolutely. And coming to one of our current productions, Blazing Samurai, which we're doing, with so Rob Minkoff was the actual director of the original Lion King. He wasn't like the fake director or the fourth or fifth director. He was the actual director, which is quite rare, isn't it? Because often people say I worked on whatever, and actually they did 10 minutes or they did a little bit or something. He was actually the man who directed it, which is amazing.
It is truly incredible and stunning. Oh my gosh.
Blazing Samurai is based on Blazing Saddles.
Is it? I was wondering with the title Blazing Samurai. A cowboy? Wait, cowboy? Did you manifest a cowboy?
In this film, it's a dog who goes into a world full of cats.
I love it.
So it's really the same. It's the same idea. Obviously in the original film, Cleveland Little, the black guy, goes into town as the sheriff, and everyone's white. But in our film, Hank, who is the sumo, or the trainee sumo, is a dog living in a world of cats. So he has to get trust of the cats. And Mel Brooks is in this film. So he's one of the voices.
Oh my God. Yeah. Are you serious? You got Mel Brooks? Oh.
They've got Mel Brooks doing the voiceover. So he is like the king of the cats.
Are you serious?
The big king.
Oh, I have to tell you something, Sean. Guess who met Mel and his pals eating lunch in well, I guess I could say Beverly Hills. I don't want to give away where he eats, but he's like, "Hey, Marilyn, come by anytime and make sure you bring your dog." So I walk by when they have lunch after my dentist appointment, and he was incredibly nice to me. And I'm trying to get him on the podcast. Haha.
Oh no! You should do, because I've never met him. As I said earlier, I'm not directly involved. But his voice is absolutely. I mean, he's in his 90s. Yeah. His voice is absolutely brilliant. His voice is so strong. He's so easy to animate to because his voice is so expressive. And
comic genius. Comedy genius, comedic genius, just
comedy genius. And he did some little stand up, video talks to help promote the film. And he is seriously funny. Even today, he's an old man, absolutely hilarious.
What is he going to be? He's going to be a samurai cat or the king of the samurais or something?
No, so basically in the story, which I'm obviously not going to give away,
okay, sure.
He is the king of the cats.
I knew it. Did I just say king of the cats? Yes.
You did, yeah. But he is the big honcho.
4 points.
And and he's hilarious. He's just such a funny voice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm watching it. I know our audience is going to go, when does it come on? When is it going to come out? We're going.
So, it's hopefully going to be in cinemas early next year.
Okay.
And, in the first half of next year, hopefully. So you need to say to all your viewers, go and see Blazing Samurai. It's a very, very funny, it's like a gag a minute type film, animated CG film.
Is there explosions and landmines? Is there explosions and landmines?
No, there are no explosions, and there are no dinosaurs, and there are no spaceships.
Oh man! Okay, all right.
But there are lots of cats, and lots of dogs, and it's very, very funny. So I would recommend all of you go and see it when it comes out.
I think our audience.
And we're doing a video game. We're doing a video game to come out with it as well.
A video game. Oh, now you're talking. Blazing Samurai. Is it going to call? Can you say the name of it, or is it under code secret?
What the video game?
Yeah.
Well, no, because the video game will also be called Blazing Samurai.
Okay.
It's not out yet.
Live. Everyone, save your money for Blazing Samurai video game.
It'll be on PlayStation and Xbox, and it uses the actual characters from the film. And the animation supervisor from the film has made sure the characters in the game perform properly. So it's a very integrated campaign.
Oh, I love it. Cats, people, do you know how many views people get for funny cat videos? The cat in the box, the cat that comes out of the box. You're gonna...
Exactly.
This is going to be smashingly good time.
People love dogs and cats, so it's fantastic. But we were also doing another animated film at the moment called 10 Lives, which was about a cat with 10 lives.
The cat, keeping the cat theme alive.
Keeping the cat theme, yeah. There are no explosions, there are no dinosaurs, and there are no Second World War planes. But it's an animated film about a cat that has 10 lives.
I love it. Oh, okay. So, all right. Before you go, my wizard series, my cat has 10 lives. So, and he's a wizard cat. So don't say that I copied. My main character is a Scottish speaking cat. He's the wizard coach to Margaret Merlin's journal. So just let you know, I have a cat. I had him before you. So yeah.
My lawyer will send you a letter straight after this call.
Yeah, and I have a ninja and samurais on Enchanting book. I pretty much have every animal, every single thing, because like I told you, I'm doing it for 1 year. So, but I write completely different. I write cheeky, furry animal, wisecracking animals, and but the secret ninja camp, it hit #1 in a country. So your Blazing Samurai is gonna smash rankings. Yeah, there's people love it, and I love your writing because it's family friendly, it's PG, it's fun.
Absolutely.
It's the fun from the heart and the soul that's magical and enchanting, and like Disney, Pixar, Jungle Book, Aristocrats, The Lady and the Tramp. Like that's my love. My
completely. So all the violence is comedy violence. Yes, it's comedy. There's no blood. There's no swearing. There are no bad, messages. It's all about good images and good messages, which I think is important in this difficult world we live in. You have to have somewhere where you can go, which is safe and secure and doesn't have bad messages and bad images. I think it's really important.
Yeah, because our world is filled. The world is filled with that famous movie from Clint Eastwood, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Some people have more good. Yes. Some people are born with more good than others, but everyone has good, bad, and ugly. But I guess our goal is to get through this, and hopefully we all have more good stuff than the opposite of good. So some people are born with more good. We're just in different areas, and but I love good old-fashioned comedy, good old-fashioned animation. And I wanted to ask you too. So I love like the Blazing Samurai. And what's the name of this one again? We're gonna have you come back for part 3, because I think we still have more to go.
10 Lives. The cat movie is called 10 Lives.
Yeah. Do you want to come back for part 3, or do you want to just tell them where they can keep up with you and come back on and promote the show when they come out?
Well, listen. Why don't we arrange another day, because I can't talk anymore now.
Okay.
So I have to go back to my day job.
Okay. So where can they keep up and find out when your films are coming out? Is there a social media, a Facebook page?
Why don't we discuss that on our next call when I found out?
Oh, okay. All right, perfect. So this is Sean Feeney, and he started with basically a PA boot camp, and just working, having to stand up, being quiet, making sure.
You wasn't allowed to sit down. Remember that you were not allowed to sit down.
Yeah, and these days people do stand at the desk because your sciatic nerve hurts, and you have to sit on those balls. Have you seen those balance balls? I'm going to get one of those balance balls. I need one of those balance balls. Well, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show, Sean. You're amazing, incredible. You do so many wonderful things, and it's been just so fun to have you on the show. Your career is incredible. Your talent is amazing, and so if I walk by and I see Mel Brooks, he always goes, "Where's the dog? Bring the dog." So it's more my husband.
No. The next time you see Mel Brooks, say, "What about Blazing Samurai?"
He's good. Like, how do you know about that, kid? So, and I'm like, well, do you know Sean Feeney? I know people.
He won't know me from anyone, but he'll know the film. And I say to everyone, go and watch it.
Yes, go. Please enjoy this. It's not even like you have to ask them. You're going to enjoy Blazing Samurais. Your kids are going to love it. Your grandparents are going to love it. And we love Sean Feeney. All the way from London. It was a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you.
Yes. And thanks to our fantastic audience. Listen, all around the world, you made us a hit podcast. If you'd like to subscribe or give us 5 stars, we're really appreciative. And all the information on Sean will be in the summary below. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao.